Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Heidi Haven. I'm part of the marketing team at Perficient, and I'm very excited that you're with us for today's webinar, where we'll discuss fragmented data, one source of truth, why Datorama is changing B2B. Before we cover some basic housekeeping items and move on to a brief overview of Perficient, I'll mention that we are recording today, so in the next day or so, we'll be sure to email you with the information on how to access this presentation. All participants on this call will be in listen-only mode, which means that everyone is on mute. You can submit questions to the speakers at any time today by typing them in the chat feature, which is located on the left side of your screen. Please make sure you state your questions clearly, and keep in mind other webinar participants will not see who asked which questions. Your questions to the speaker will be anonymously addressed as time allows toward the end of the presentation. Now that we've covered some logistics, let's move on to a quick overview of our company. So who is Perficient? We're a consulting firm that delivers digital experience, business optimization, and industry solutions. The work we do helps cultivate and captivate customers, as well as drive efficiency and productivity. We have multiple locations across the U.S. and Europe, as well as offshore facilities in India and China. We're a Gold Salesforce partner and specialize in sales, service, marketing, and community clouds, just to name a few. We've also been a Datorama partner since 2016. Founded in 1997, we're a public company that's traded on the NASDAQ, and we have about 3,500 employees. All right, now that I've covered the housekeeping items and told you a little bit about our company, I'd like to pass it over to today's speaker, Eric Dukart. Eric is a practice director at Perficient and has over 17 years of experience in developing and leading service and strategy solutions.
Thanks, Heidi. And welcome everybody to today's webinar. It's interesting. I actually find this topic pretty timely. I just wrapped up a meeting with a client yesterday, and it was interesting as we were talking with them, with their marketing team, and learning a little bit more about what some of their challenges are. I think like many marketers, it's similar. They were focused on how do they start to create a more personalized experience for their customers, but also internally as a marketing team, how do they become more efficient, which was interesting because if you think about today, marketers are getting pulled and stretched in so many different directions that it's not only leveraging technology to be able to create a better experience for your customer, but it's also, how as a marketing team do you leverage technology to become more efficient. So kind of that as a backdrop, let me kind of jump in here and talk about what we're here today to focus on, which really is how we leverage marketing intelligence platforms to be able to help the marketing team. And today, as you guys know, B2B marketing is now becoming much more data-driven and ROI-focused. It's becoming where maybe marketing in the past was more about creative and brand, and those are all still very important elements of marketing, but now marketers are being asked to be more data-driven and ROI-focused as part of the organization. And there's been this shift over the past few years where marketers are now focused on becoming more data aware, leveraging that information that's in front of them. They have to create more disciplines within the way that they execute their marketing campaigns. They probably have the technology now to be able to enable it, but they have to now start thinking about the staffing to support this new type of marketing. And today, marketers need to have much more real-time insights to help them make decisions on those marketing efforts. They need to increase the visibility. Everyone within the company is now asking for visibility to that marketing data. And they have to start shifting from just maybe pure campaign ROI to true marketing attribution. So today we're going to talk about this approach. This approach is called marketing performance measurement. We're also going to talk about the foundational technology that we use to implement. We'll share a few accelerators that we've created to help get you up and running. And then finally, we'll talk about what are some of the outcomes you should be able to expect from that. But I think we got to level set first. While many B2B marketers know you need to do this, there's also many obstacles or challenges that are in your way to be able to achieve your strategy and goals. You have no shortage of data. There's data sitting in systems that you own. There's data sitting in systems that your agency partners own, but none of this data is connected. So that really can help tell you what are the things that you need to do next as a marketer. And while marketers know they need to be more data-driven, many times you may not have that skill set internally or even know how to ramp up your team's expertise to be able to do this new type of data-driven marketing. And finally, as you guys know, consumer demands are changing within marketing and specifically in B2B marketing, where we now need to start thinking about bringing together both our corporate and our partner marketing initiatives to really create that seamless experience that customers may have. So Perficient has been working on this. We're working to develop a solution that helps enable marketers. And there's really 4 components that we use to address these challenges. The first is using a marketing intelligence platform like Datorama, which we will do a demo here shortly. And really we leverage that marketing intelligence platform to bring together all of this disparate data. And we want to turn that data into smart measures that can be used for you to make decisions. Second, we want to organize that data into a key set of measures that keeps everybody in the company focused on what are the most critical KPIs to be looking at. I'm sure you know and have seen when you share out maybe a static marketing dashboard that a colleague of yours will maybe pick out the one metric that they're interested in. And in many cases, they probably misinterpret what that metric really means or what it's really doing to the organization. So we want to take and organize all of these measures around a buyer journey. And the reason we do that is it keeps everybody focused on the customer experience. Next is visualization, data visualization and adding into these contextual dashboards. So we use visual data visualization and narratives, and bringing these things together helps bring the data and analytics to life for marketers. It makes it a lot easier to interpret and share those results within the company. And then, finally, when needed, we do have a team of insight analysts that we work with our clients to look at the campaigns and add that context to those supporting dashboards. And one of the things that we hear all the time from our customers is when they're looking at metrics, is that metric even a good metric? And what should they do with the data that they have and the information that they have in front of them? So the foundation of our solution is built on Datorama. It's a leading marketing intelligence platform. With Datorama, you have access right away to most all of the marketing data sources available. And in many cases with Datorama, you have pre-built connectors into those, whether that's connections into marketing platforms, ad serving platforms. You're getting pre-built connectors into all of that marketing data and brought right into the marketing intelligence platform. Next is, and what's really core to Datorama, is its artificial intelligence engine, where you now can start to analyze all that messy and kind of unstructured marketing data and start to surface insights, learnings from that data that you as a marketer can now start to look at your channels or your campaigns or your content to be able to see and surface up not only insights but recommendations that can later be used with tools like Marketing Cloud to be able to automate your marketing efforts. And then finally, we leverage Datorama quite extensively for some cross-channel reporting. When we want to look across a number of different channels, digital, search, email, we're looking across all of our different channels, Datorama brings it all together so that all of these kind of interactions and touch points that your customers have are all brought together in a single place. And now what's really exciting, as Heidi described, we've been using Datorama since 2016, so we've got a lot of experience with the platform. And now with Datorama being acquired by Salesforce, the leading CRM tool, you now can quickly align all these marketing insights right into your CRM, and then obviously automate that through Marketing Cloud and your marketing automation platforms. When I started, I shared that there are these challenges that marketers are facing to bring together all this disparate data. This is a very simple visual of just some of the key platforms that we typically integrate. There's probably 100 more that you could add to this to really create that more unified view of marketing. But when you think about platform integration and bringing together all this data, there's lots of different types of data that are important to you as a marketer. Things like tweets and posts and links, from your marketing channels. These are all very important interaction data, and that data is critical to you. You have opens and click-throughs and SEO ranking. That's all very important engagement data. How well are customers engaging with your platforms? And then obviously your leads and your customer data, even service complaints are all very critical customer data. And the power of a marketing intelligence platform is that it brings together all this data from unstructured tweets and posts to known customer records that might be sitting in your CRM system. And it's significant because oftentimes one of the things I get asked is, well, why can't I just use my BI tool? And you can. Those are extremely powerful analytics tools, but they do require a significant amount of data modeling and system integration to bring this type of marketing data together. Marketing intelligence platforms like Datorama were designed from the ground up to support this type of data, and most importantly, were designed for marketers. So that's a little bit about Datorama and how we leverage that foundational platform to bring together data. And now what we've done, what Perficient has done, is now that we've got this kind of solid technology foundation, we've built a solution called Insight Driven. And there are 3 key accelerators, things that when we work with our clients, we see over and over again were needs that they have to get started to get started with a marketing intelligence platform. And the first one is marketing data transformation. And what this is a framework that starts with tagging, and it really creates the foundation for models to be able to do marketing attribution. The next is buyer journey optimization. This is where we use Datorama and Marketing Cloud to be able to create the analytics and dashboards for your buying journeys. And we use analytics specifically within B2B. We use analytics to help marketers make this shift or the pivot from product-based marketing to customer-centric marketing. As B2B marketers, we for years have organized and budgeted and built our teams around our products. And we're all trying to go through the shift now where we shift from being very product-focused to being customer-focused. And using information and driving decisions on information around a buyer journey is a great way to help the transformation of the team move from product to customer-centric marketing. And then finally is marketing campaign attribution. This is where we look at campaigns and marketing channels and truly show the value and the attribution of those interactions and touch points to each one of the campaigns that we're running. So that's kind of a high level, the 3 accelerators that we've built on top of the Datorama platform, and I'll kind of dive into each one of those now. The first one that we'll talk through is marketing data transformation, and really to start the journey of doing marketing performance measurement, it all starts with data. Nothing real exciting, just raw data to be able to model from. And there's a lot of challenges with marketing data. It's messy. There's no keys to work from. It's unstructured, and it's unstructured data, and it really lacks any meaningful metadata for marketers to be able to draw insights from. And most marketers struggle to be able to uncover insights using this raw marketing data. You can look at your Google Analytics account and you can see how your website's doing. You could look at campaign reports and see how many retweets you have or how many likes you have, and you can gain insight on that, and you can look at campaign reports. But the challenge is, as a marketer, is how do you bring all of this raw marketing data together? And for us, it really starts with tagging data. It's the foundation. And we take, from a foundation standpoint, we tag all of this marketing data to be able to create this clean ID that we can now build from. So we do this tagging. So we'll tag channels and we'll tag content, conversion steps, really any element that you want to be able to analyze and measure. Next, we'll aggregate and transform that data into something meaningful. We call these smart measures. And finally, we model it. And typically, we'll model it, as I stated, along a buyer journey. And then we can get to marketing attribution. This really is the heavy lifting. It's the difficult work that most people don't see, but is very critical to the analytics and the dashboards that you as a marketer needs. And we'll show you that here a little bit in the demo. The next accelerator that we've built is buyer journey optimization. This is, as I said, how we model our data is really around a buyer journey. And we do this, we recommend doing this to make the data more meaningful, and it's really to represent those key measures and metrics along a buyer journey. And because we've built that foundational data model, we now can organize really all of our key metrics and measures any way you want, but by doing it along a buyer journey, it starts to surface key insights and lets you as a marketer determine what are those milestones that move a customer from one journey stage to the next. Then using Datorama, we can drill into KPIs real time. We can flip and pivot and drill into KPIs that really support each one of those stages. I'll kind of show you a simple illustration. As you know, no customer takes the same path when you buy. If you're buying a vehicle, one customer and the next are going to interact and use different information in that buying process. And there are just so many interactions that you have with your brand that you need to be able to unify that all in a very organized way. So it's shifting our thinking from organizing around a product or an internal process like product campaigns or prospects or leads. And when you organize around the customer buying stages, things like content and creative and channels take on a whole new meaning because you're thinking about those metrics related to the customer experience. So things like, is the content right for this stage of the buying journey? What channels are most effective for these early stages? And then how can I maximize my budget? If you're doing very well in one stage of the journey, you can maybe pull back a little bit of your marketing spend and apply it into different stages where you need a lift in there. So how we do it is we move into the next stage here. I want to jump into is marketing campaign attribution. So this is where everybody wants to get to, but to get there, we've got to do that. We've got to do that data modeling. And so everybody wants that attribution and ROI, but it's very difficult to do, especially when in many B2B cases where you might have an indirect sales channel where you capture revenue in other source systems from a dealer or distributor. And we've got to be able to connect that all the way back to marketing efforts that you do. We do this by what we call an expected revenue value model. It brings together all of these interactions, assets, and revenue data, and then we put it all on the customer record. Now, it's a very advanced topic that will require a lot more time than what we have today, but I'd be happy to follow up with anybody interested in learning more about that model. So what I want to do is jump into a demo. And to kind of set the stage here, we're going to switch over to a live demo and really show you the solution that we've built on top of the Datorama platform. To set it up, we're going to be looking at a B2B marketing dashboard. And it's for a company called Frontier Enterprise, a manufacturer of trailers. And they go to market through both traditional channels direct mail, events, and digital channels, social ads, paid search. So it's a true omni-channel approach. They're in the process of shifting their marketing to be more customer-centric and using buyer journeys, but they still rely on those product launch campaigns. Let me quickly switch over there and I'll jump you through the demo. All right, so what you see on my screen is Datorama, and what we've done is applied a number of dashboards that leverage those accelerators that I described. And the first dashboard that you see here are our key metrics. Over on the left-hand side, you can see our navigation, and I can switch from one dashboard to the next. And this top-level dashboard is the way that we look at measuring along a buyer journey. You can see a pretty simple journey from awareness all the way through purchase, 5 stages. And what we've done at each one of these stages is rolled up a measure. So the main thing we're looking at from an awareness standpoint is impressions. The main thing that we look at for initial consideration are leads. And then obviously the purchase is what we use, opportunity closed won. Now there are many, many different inputs that go into that impression. It could be a social ad, it could be a tweet, it could be a click to a website. Those are all different ways, metrics that we roll up together, leveraging that data model to be able to categorize all of our impressions. But we can start to see at the top what it takes and how do we connect impressions to leads to opportunity. And from a data standpoint, here we're out pulling in, SEO data, and we're pulling in social data, and we're connecting it up with information that we have in our CRM system, and ultimately connecting it to opportunity closed won and revenue that we've applied. Now the power of Datorama really comes in when we want to start to dive a little bit deeper and look at it deeper than what that might just be on the surface. So quickly, I can look at this stage of the journey, and I can see what tactics are driving the most impressions. Online display ads, direct mails, TV. So here we can see with Frontier Enterprise where they are leveraging both digital and traditional channels. We're consolidating all that data that all influences our overall measure of impressions. As I move across, we can start to see that online display ads is where we're driving most of our impressions. But to truly get familiarity where that customer is learning about the product, learning about the brand, organic search and organic direct entry jump up to the top. And then as we move through. And very quickly I can pivot and say, well, now I want to look at what types of media do I use that are driving that. I can look at whether it's digital, organic, print, broadcast. I can start to see all of the different media types that I'm using. And we can do that because, again, we've tagged everything as a foundation. I can also quickly go look and say, well, what products that we have are most effective at each one of these journeys. So we have our multi-product campaign that you can see does very well across the board. But one thing that's interesting is when you drill in and you look and you see that utility trailers is a product line that we don't spend a lot from an awareness standpoint, but quickly it jumps up from familiarity all the way through purchase. And so what we can learn from that is that we don't have to spend a lot of dollars generating awareness on a certain product line because we have that strong brand and we can see it as it moves through that buying phase. And I scroll down real quick. Now you can start to see where attribution comes into play. And some of the key things that we look at is for each one of these stages, we want to look at, well, how much am I spending on these different product lines? How many impressions am I getting? How many responses? What's the cost per response am I spending to get it? All the way through opportunity closed won. So here we can start to see that a product line like utility trailer is costing us about $6,000 to get that product. We're spending that much money. where our aluminum trailer is only costing $3,800. So when we think about attribution, our focus is to understand how many dollars are we spending on the front end in marketing and how much revenue are we generating from that. And so we can quickly look at it by product. We can look at it by tactic. And same thing, start to see for each one of these areas, what is my cost per opportunity? What's my opportunity closed won for each one of the different channels or tactics that I'm using? I can also slice it by market. Do we have different markets that we are focused on? And that really is the power of leveraging Datorama, is that because we've tagged all this information in real time, I can slice and dice this information really any way that I need to look at it as a marketer. Now quickly, if I want to go back to what I'm used to as a marketer, it might be our product launch campaigns. And just by the click of a button, I am moving from more journey-based measures all right into now a certain product launch that I might be doing within the organization. My dashboard stays the same. I'm still focused on these high-level measures, but quickly I can see for this product launch campaign, what tactics did we use? And same thing, drill in and start to see that in this product launch, we're heavily focused in online ads, direct mail, paid search, and I can start to see all the way from the number of impressions that we did to drive awareness for this product launch, through how many responses did I get, how many people filled out forms on my public website, how many leads did we acquire, all the way to how many opportunity closed won activities did we get, and what was our cost per for each one of those. Here we can see for online display ads, it's costing us about $14,000 to win that business, where paid search is only $66. And if I want to drill in even further, I can drive all the way down into one of my channels. So I've started at an overall key metrics dashboard. I can look at it by a campaign, and now I'm drilling all the way down into an email. And same thing, I can just take that slice of email that was showing up in my key metrics, and I can drill in and see how many impressions did emails serve up for our overall key metrics, how many responses, leads, and then how many opportunity closed won. Now, because we have tagged in all of the information across all of our channels, I can start to look at one of my email campaigns and really dissect the content and the creative that we're using. So looking at my overall email, I can take each one of these dynamic areas of my email and start to see what was my click-to-open ratio. Which one of these content elements drove the most engagement for my campaign, and then all the way up to my overall key metrics. And I even can break it all the way down into certain content types. A lead story, how effective was our parts shop lead story, maybe versus the black enclosed trailer. So we can really narrow in on content. We can look at our creative for a certain campaign that's running. And again, our whole focus is how do we leverage Datorama as a marketing intelligence platform to be able to look at really any information that we want, but ultimately drive towards the organization thinking about measurement and thinking about the use of measurement within marketing to drive our customers through that buying process. So this is a quick demo of Datorama and the solution in terms of how we've built it, leveraging the model that we have for content tagging, how we look at shifting from very product-based marketing to journey-based, and then ultimately getting to that attribution, whether we are looking at total purchases using closed won, all the way down to an individual tactic, how many opportunities closed won did a certain tactics that we have to support that. So one of the things I hear a lot is how do I get started? So this is a pretty advanced model when you think about leveraging data and information to be able to change the way marketers think about the way that they look at their marketing campaigns. And so what we've done is really put these 4 steps together to kind of help marketers get started. And this is really through our experience. These are the 4 steps that you need to do. It's not all-encompassing, but it is a guide. And the first step is setting that foundational CRM. So define and implement foundational business processes within your company, within your CRM. And things like capturing leads and how do you handle opportunities, how do you connect asset and revenue data onto your customer record. We do this because to get to attribution, to get to that ability to say how many impressions did it take for us to be able to get the number of opportunity closed won at the end of that journey, we need to be able to bring together all of that engagement data, that asset data and revenue data all connected to the customer record. So the first thing we always recommend is really make sure that your foundational CRM is set up. Next is campaign hierarchy. We help define and implement the campaign hierarchy within the CRM. This is where each campaign record is really enriched with all of that metadata around engagement. And we use it to be able to, when I was slicing and dicing and looking at media types versus product lines versus market, that's all centered around the campaign record that sits inside the campaign hierarchy. So having a well architected and built out campaign hierarchy is really a fundamental step that we have to take. And next, highlighted in red, obviously, is tagging. This is the foundation of our model. And as I shared, our model is really built on that tagging. We created a custom Lightning interface that really enables your marketing department or even agency partners to create a dynamic tag. And that dynamic tag then is dropped on all of the different channels and content types and creative that you may have. And that's what we use as our tag to be able to allow Datorama to slice and dice that information really any way that we need to as marketers. And then finally is attribution. As I said, attribution is very difficult to do. But with a marketing intelligence platform and having a very solid data model as a foundation, you can now start to kind of calculate and really automate your attribution model. To wrap it up, what should you expect? This is a pretty advanced model, and now that you have the technologies like Datorama and accelerators from Perficient, you can get started on your journey towards marketing performance measurement. And as a business, there are really some outcomes that you can expect, right? You can connect all your marketing. You can show how marketing is really impacting revenue by aligning all of those metrics. We can bring together our campaigns in real time. We can move and click between our dashboards and bring that analytics together in real time and tie it together with your marketing automation platforms like Marketing Cloud. The other thing too, specific to B2B, is that this whole model does support account-based marketing. Because we can tag each one of our audience segments, we really can use analytics to be able to drive our ABM efforts. And last but not least is really leveraging the power of Datorama to be able to use AI to really visualize and connect all that unstructured data to help predict performance. With that, I will open it up to questions.
Great. Thank you, Eric. That was really a great presentation, and it was honestly so helpful to see a live demo like that. So thanks for putting that together. It looks like we do have a few minutes left for Q&A, so let's get started with the first question. How would you say Datorama dashboards stack up to the other VI tools in terms of visualization and storytelling?
So I think it's a good question. Visualization is very important to marketers. And I think oftentimes when we think of data visualization, it might be graphs and charts. And really when we describe data visualization, our focus is on how do we make sure that the right information is surfaced at the right time. If I jump back into our demo, when we think of data visualization, it's how do you organize your information in a way that marketers understand it. There's plenty of BI tools out there, and you can do reports and dashboards in Excel. But to us, true data visualization is really putting information at the fingertips of a marketer. And with Datorama, their power that Datorama really has is being able to quickly surface information and allow a marketer to be able to quickly move from one data type to the next. So obviously we're big proponents of Datorama and its visualization capabilities. I guess I would say maybe instead of thinking about data visualization compared to other tools, it would be how does that technology's visualization really meet the needs of a marketer in being able to organize it the way that's most important to them. So not sure if that answered the question, but visualization to us is less about the technology and more about how do you organize it to make it easy for marketers to make decisions.
That makes sense. All right, I've got another question here. What would you say is the single most important step we can take to get buy-in in our organizations for an intelligence platform like Datorama?
Interesting, because that was one of the questions that came up in a recent client meeting that I had. I think first it's helping educate the organization on really what is marketing intelligence, because oftentimes what you're going to get, probably from the IT organization and even some of your operations people are going to be, well, explain to me what's the difference between marketing intelligence versus business intelligence. We already have a BI tool, we already have a data warehouse, etc. And I think the number one thing is, one, educating on the difference between marketing intelligence versus BI. There, again, hopefully through this webinar you can see that marketing intelligence is all centered around marketing data and quickly bringing that marketing data together. But I think to help build the case for marketing intelligence is really looking at it and saying, I need to bring together all of these different data points, and let's look at it and say, what is that going to take to bring this data together in maybe a data warehouse or a data lake model, and then visualize it in a BI tool, versus having a marketing intelligence platform that has many of the pre-built connectors right into those data sources, and the ability to quickly turn that analytics and connect it from your marketing intelligence platform to marketing automation. So an example would be leveraging Datorama to be able to surface up an insight, like the example I gave on product, utility trailer, and we can easily drop that insight into Marketing Cloud, into their journey builder, to be able to say, all right, we're going to move a journey stage because of insights that we've learned from that. So it really is education on the difference between the two, and then looking at how you structure data, how you visualize data in BI versus the ability to have pre-built connectors and be able to connect marketing intelligence right into automation. Questions coming through?
I think we are good. It looks like we're coming up on the time that we have allotted for the webinar. So I think we'll end our Q&A session. But if you do have any other questions, please feel free to contact us. And once again, please note that a recording of today's webinar will be sent to you within a few days for you to review and share with your colleagues. We thank you for your participation and hope that the information we provided today was helpful. Have a great rest of your day.